On the runway, she rubbed her body all over, gyrating to the beat like a dancer in an exotic nightclub. I'm not old enough to look, Shiraz yelled, closing her eyes. Hey everybody, it's Legend Wings or Mackenzie, back again with my friend Kaylee, and we're here once more to read you some more of good old Modelland.
We're almost halfway through.
Almost. After today, we'll be basically halfway through this book, which is incredible we've made it this far.
It's something.
Remember what happened in the last two chapters?
I don't want to remember. I remember, and I don't want to.
You know I read 16 pages of this dormitory effect?
Why? Just why? Why is this pertinent information to the story?
Pages of girls doubling over with cramps. It's good stuff, guys.
No.
So it looks like we're taking a different turn though this chapter. Chapter 20 is titled Run and Gun, which sounds like it'll be a horror story now, if last chapter wasn't. Alright, let's get right into it. Tookie stepped into her next class, Runaway Intensive. It took place in a long, narrow building the length of the Sapphire Esplanade Mall and the width of a half-dozen bowling lanes.
Okay.
That's just really weird to
That's kind of hard to picture, because she's using, what, the Esplanade from, what would that be, like chapter 6, I want to say, when they go shopping for Miracle's dress.
Yeah.
Which was described, how many chapters ago now? Like 10?
Like 10 to 14 chapters ago. So now we're comparing this mall size, which I never knew how big this mall is, and half a dozen bowling lanes.
Why not just pick something else?
Why do we have to use both?
What's weirder to me is, like, okay, so, like, you could, if you're describing something that's like the width of a bowling lane, okay. Then why not pick something that's like the entire width, not like 6 bowling lanes lined up. Instead, just do something that's like, oh, it was the 50 yards. It was like the length of a football field or something. Or
the length of a thing and not several somethings.
Give us like a basketball court or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It threw me off for a loop. It took me like 3 seconds to register what I had just read because of the comparison. Yeah. A curved staircase led up to a vast mezzanine. Each tread bore a hologram of an Intoxibella famous for her runway walk. Tookie spied many Intoxibellas she recognized, including L. Her hologram was extremely faint, though, a ghost slowly disappearing. So it's kind of like the Star Clan cats as they all fade. She thought about that terrifying vision of L beating herself. Had it been a dream? I hope so. Shiraz immediately skipped over and grabbed Tookie's hand. Yay! We are in the runaway class together, too! Stand by me!
Great.
As they scuttled into the classroom, Tookie could feel 2 pairs of familiar eyes bitter-balling her again. And that's bitter and balling, both capitalized put together. Is that a word?
They mentioned it earlier. There's some sort of like sour candies, I want to say, that, like, I guess makes you like squint and like pucker your lip. I don't know.
I vaguely remember that now, but I was just like, is this something I should know? No, not really, because there's been enough other weird things thrown at me. I shouldn't be expected to remember this. Zizi wrinkled her nose at Tookie like she smelled raw sewage. I see they haven't turned you into Tutu Barbecue yet. Chase laughed so hard she snorted.
What? I don't get why she's putting it together.
Because it rhymes. Tutu Barbecue.
Does it though?
Like, sorta. Yeah, okay. It's close enough.
Really, Zizi, you could have come up with something better than that. I'm just gonna say,
I wouldn't have come up with that creativeness in the 3 seconds I know somebody.
Because it's not really a burn or a diss.
This has to be something she wrote down and saved for this moment.
She needs to work on her writing skills.
Yes. Somebody needs to work on their writing skills. Tookie gritted her teeth. She was dying to retaliate and whisper something clever about digging through dumpsters. But then she closed her eyes and thought of C. Tilda L's advice. Don't stoop to her level. Don't stoop to her level. Dylan and Piper entered the room as well, beaming as they spied Tookie and Shiraz. Besides the four of them and Zizi and Chase, Tookie recognized only two other girls in the room. Tear-streaked Desperata. I was just trying to figure out, because Tookie recognized only two other girls in the room and then listed one person. So I was confused as to why the sentence ended. That's the confusion you saw pass on my face. Okay. It was because there wasn't a person mentioned right away. Also, and it started anew.
Was there another? Weren't they all just together in the class with the?
Yeah, I thought
with
they
the
were.
Like shark bone room.
I thought they were.
Where they were like making faces at the reflection, or
I just hate how she's spending so much time like, and then so and so showed up, and then so and so showed up, and then I knew these people, and I knew these people. Like, you could literally just expect the people you know to be in that class and be like, oh, when they have this interaction with them, bring them up, and they're just there.
Yeah. I guess I had kind of had in my mind that they all were in the same class, but there's quite a few of them, isn't there? Like,
I guess. There's Tookie recognized only two other girls in the room. We're going to list one. Tear-streaked Desperata. She was crying even harder now, if that was possible. Then Gunnero Nars whirled through the door. Okay, so they are only going to list one person.
I don't even remember why she's crying.
I don't remember either.
That's probably our bad. It's been at least a week before we.
She said about her menstrual cycle going away. No, I don't see her name in the last 3 chapters here. So, anywho, this is Desperata. She's crying, and then Gunnero Nars whirled through the door. Everyone bristled. Ugh, not him. Tookie thought.
I think he's kind of fun.
What kind of voice did I give him before?
I don't remember.
Is that the same dude as in last chapter? That's Pacifico.
Isn't he Guru Gunnero? So what's Gunnero Nars? What's the?
I don't remember who Nars is.
Before the person was referred to as Guru Gunnero, right? And not Gunnero Nars.
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't remember this character, so I'm gonna move forward without a voice. Basically,
the one that did the thigh-high boot camp. I'm pretty sure.
We meet again, my dear no-sees, he growled, sweeping his gray eyes over the crowd. As you know, I am not only the administrator of the terror-filled THBC, I am also the official, the omnipotent, the one and the only pace parader, sauntering serenader, gangway gallivanter, your run-away intensive educator. If you thought you came to despise me during your time at Thigh-High Boot Camp, think again, because you have yet to experience me teach the strut in all my sumptuous, unfettered glory. Gunnero stuck his arms in the air to pose in a V and sashayed up and down the runway between the girls. The door burst open again, and he whipped back around and glared at the intruder. It was Persimmon, the belladonna's devoted mannequin. Oh yeah, mannequins. Those are a thing.
Yep.
Gunnero scowled. What the? Persimmon cleared her throat, cutting him off. By order of the most beloved of the beloved, the chicest of the chic, the definer of all things beautiful, and the esteemed leader of all bellas, the belladonna declares that today's session of Runaway will be co-instructed by the only living 777. You're kidding me, right? Gunnero closed his slate-colored eyes. We just mentioned his color of his eyes last page, but fine. Body girl? In my class? Tookie glanced at Shiraz, thoroughly confused. Shiraz shrugged. The Intoxibella, known the world over, has refused to follow orders since she has returned to Modelland, so she has been ordered to repent by the chicest of the chic, Persimmon said, pointing through the window to the belladonna statue. It seemed to be visible from every corner of Modelland. Then Persimmon yelled, "You may enter now!" The door flung open, and in walked C. Tilda L. She had on an outfit made of hundreds of copper and brass-colored handcuffs. There was a frazzled, pained look on her face. No one seemed to know how to react. Shiraz clapped tentatively, and a few girls joined in. Zizi and Chase scowled. I don't want her teaching me, Zizi said to Chase. I'd rather see her tortured some more in the O. C. Tilda L. stood before the girls, her eyes lifeless. Then she spied Tookie's small group in the corner. Her face slackened and her eyes bulged, and she became a different person altogether.
I have a question real quick, though.
Yep. Go ahead.
First of all, like, this is real weird. Second of all, why are Zizi and Chased, what's her face?
Yeah.
Why are they so upset that it's C tilde L? She's supposed to be like the best there is, the 777.
But she was scorned in the oopening ceremony, so they probably just are a bunch of sheep and follow whatever the people think.
But
and also C tilde L brought Tookie, so.
Yeah, but you also have the chance to learn, like, granted, so what if C tilde L, like, the Belladonna is kind of like, well, we don't like you as much anymore.
Right.
She's also the, like, only 777 in history, so, like, essentially the best there is by all of their, like, beauty standards and, like, whatever else makes you 777. Why would you not take that opportunity to learn from her? Better yet than also, they're such awful people. They'd rather see her tortured.
Yep. What? Yep. Because that's the kind of people that live in this world. If you don't like somebody, you'd rather see them tortured or scrounging for scraps or. Jeez. The world is very black and white, as you know. You either like someone or you hate them with every fiber of your being. Taking a deep breath. Wait 1 second, I skipped a sentence and we cannot miss a moment of C tilde L. Her face slackened and her eyes bulged and she became a different person altogether. Her hair began to whip around her face, caught up in its own private wind. Taking a deep breath, she began to speak. A colorless girl in a colorless world, she said, now stained crimson because of her quest. It's a new poem, Tookie thought. C tilde L's spoken word poems were famous, recited by girls all over the world. Even Tookie had remembered them. Then she noticed C tilde L cut her eyes to Piper. I'm stained crimson? Piper whispered. Is she talking about my Aunt Dottie? A microscopic glass between the criterion, C tilde L went on. Journey aborted, but soul cannot rest. And then C tilde L turned and looked at Shiraz. She mean me? Shiraz squeaked. What'd she mean about my soul? I'm not dead. C tilde L continued, now overwrought with emotion. A Rubenesque damsel surrounded by twigs, her lush carcass devoured, insects infest. Dylan, who stood right next to Tookie, scoffed at C tilde L. There better not be any bugs infesting me, she sputtered. And then, finally, C tilde L shut her eyes and placed her thumb on her breast. I mean, my bra was bothering me maybe, but like...
It's probably like, I don't know, like, the clavicle.
Just like...
It probably means like
on my clavicle, but like I can't. This is even so awkward, even just as a clavicle, like pointing to myself. I would just place my hand like on my clavicle or my breast, like.
I don't know what the hell C tilde L is thinking.
What the hell is with C tilde L?
That's a much better poem than hers.
Yes, thank you.
I don't remember her having lots of poetry. Maybe it was mentioned like early on. I don't think we ever got any.
When Tookie was describing like 700 characters in the span of 3 chapters, that's probably when it happened. But she's got one more verse left. So after she placed her thumb on her breast, their crony elected exemplar of excellence has failed them, whose soul demons now do possess. The room fell into a befuddled silence. Guru Ganero seemed to be amused by C tilde L, a sly smile on his lips. Again, Tookie thought of the violent moment the night before. The moaning, the chanting, C tilde L mutilating herself. The wax. The sorry. C tilde L's haunting wail. C tilde L was acting so strange in the classroom now that Tookie began to believe that maybe she had truly seen the terror. Then Shiraz moved toward the window. Look! She was pointing at the belladonna statue. It had begun to blink and move its arms. Slowly, it lowered itself and peered into the runaway classroom window. Then a crackle filled the air. Suddenly, a bouquet of flowers protruded from C tilde L's lips. Everyone screamed except for Gennaro, who looked quite pleased. C tilde L wrenched the flowers out of her mouth, but a large rose bush popped out next. She struggled to remove the bush, trying unsuccessfully to avoid the thorns. After that popped out a purple orchid plant, then a mess of daisies and dandelions, then a bunch of springing tulips, then ivy. It was a long magician's scarf of flora, all of which C tilde L yanked from her mouth and tossed disdainfully to the floor. She sneezed and greenish petals shot out of her nose. Gennaro sniggered. Looks like the belladonna wants to pretty up that foul mouth of yours, body girl, he said, eyeing C tilde L's body up and down with disdain.
Body girl?
Body girl.
What?
I don't remember that being part of it other than it was mentioned one other time in this chapter. And then he's eyeing her up and down with disdain, which is always cool. Tookie wondered why he was calling her that. Even though C tilde L was still very striking, she wasn't quite as thin as she had been months ago when she was the top Intoxibella. Okay, so she's got curves and you hate it. Thanks. All right, C tilde L yelled toward the window at the belladonna statue. I'll stop reciting poems. I'll teach with Gennaro. I'll do whatever you say. Just stop this. The statue blinked placidly. C tilde L coughed, reached into her mouth, and yanked out a perfect miniature bonsai tree. She glowered at the belladonna statue. I know what I did, okay? I know I was wrong. I will comply. I will obey. I will do what you ask of me. This seemed to satisfy the belladonna, and she straightened up and resumed her position in the O. Gennaro cleared his throat, still not looking very happy that C tilde L was there. Well, my little no-sees, he said, beginning a lecture, you all possess centuras, yes? But simply wearing them round your slinky little waists won't do the trick alone. To bring forth the true power of the centura, one must retract one's stomach, letting the centura's majestic force soak into one's soul. He glared at C tilde L. Show them, BG, as in body girl. Dejectedly, C tilde L sucked her stomach in hard and closed her eyes. Her centura began to wave in its own wind. Why did you change? I think change font type or this. I think it's a disastrous looking Q that's not closed.
Oh no.
I think it's just disastrous looking font. Capitalized. I think it's just bad Q.
Yeah.
It took me a second. I'm like, is that a letter? I'm like, yeah, it's a Q, but it's just not closed.
It looks a lot different from the rest of the font, too.
Yeah.
It's weird and just...
It's capitalized, italicized, and probably a different font.
See, like, stuff like that just makes it hard on the eyes to read.
And
don't do that.
Confuses you, too, as you're trying to read and understand something that's already completely and utterly confusing. Musique! Gennaro cried. The overhead lights dimmed, and bass-heavy music began to boom. Marches! Guru Gennaro yelled even louder. On command, C tilde L began to parade up and down the runway, her legs fluid, her arms in perfect harmony. With lips pursed and hands on hips, Gennaro watched C tilde L walk back and forth. He looked to be mentally walking as well. His hips swayed a bit while his feet remained in place. It seemed to Tookie that the guru was doing everything in his power to not jump on the runway and push C tilde L out of the way. His lips pursed even harder when C tilde L completed a triple spin. I mean,
Are
they're
you
not...
supposed to do that?
No, not typically. I wouldn't think typically on a runway you would want to be spinning like a figure skater, but, I mean, Miracle was told she couldn't dance, so I don't know how this is fair. I guess gurus can be jealous of Intoxibellas, Tookie thought. C-L disappeared behind a wall in the back of the room. She returned in less than 2 seconds, now in a stunning dress covered in teddy bears, complete with bear claw-like platform heels. Everyone, even Chase, gasped. Yeah, you heard me.
Bear claw.
Bear claw
Like
heels. So like the backs of them are probably like bear claws.
Oh, were they? Did you say they were platform heels? Okay, so they're just the they're just the
platform heels. Yep.
Okay, I can see that now with the point of the claw being like the heel. Okay,
and the dress covered in teddy bears, and everybody's gasping now because it's so amazing.
It's probably because it's so ugly.
That could be too. That's probably why I would gasp. Zizi eyed C-L like she hated her and wanted to be her at the same time. A private fashion show by C-L, Tookie thought, and she changed outfits so quickly. How? Magic. This is a magical world. Tookie realized this was how C-L had been able to do every designer fashion show one season as the sole model. 173 fashion shows, probably over 7,000 clothing changes. But how? What was going on backstage that got her back out on the runway so fast?
Magic.
Duh. Disappearing once more, C-L reappeared in mere seconds in yet another outfit. A floor-length gown made of various types of chains, and a tangle of edgy metal necklaces that glowed neon. One half of her hair was sheared in a pixie style. The other half was a long, curly bush. Mirrors on all sides of the room showed her every angle. Flashes from invisible cameras snapped as C-L paused and posed at the end of the runway. She did the same quick change with 4 more outfits. Thank you for not telling us about them.
For the first time in forever.
We didn't have to get a list. Yet.
Yeah, yet.
The girls clapping with glee every time she emerged from the back room. But as she strutted to the end of the runway again, Tookie could see that whenever the clothing rubbed against the skin of her back, C-L did the most minute flinch. The last outfit she donned was a red polka-dotted jumpsuit with an attached hood and polka-dotted boots. A necklace made of cantaloupe-sized rouge-colored pearls draped from her neck to her knees.
What? Cantaloupe-sized?
Cantaloupe-sized.
So, like, they're sticking out, like, bigger than a softball.
Oh, way bigger than
a softball. Not quite a basketball, but these giant, like, beads? What?
Yeah, they're cantaloupe-sized, rouge-colored pearls draped from her neck to her knees. Ouch.
Alright. That would be hard to walk in.
Yeah, I would imagine so. It'd probably hurt a little,
Probably be
too.
pretty heavy.
Then the music ceased. Enough, you show-off, Gennaro blared, looking jealous. C-L stopped in the middle of the runway. Well, Gennaro crossed his arms over his chest. Tell them the secret. C-L took a breath and faced the Bellas. What you saw wasn't real.
Oh my god!
Then Gennaro starts using other languages, and I guess... What? He just says things in another language, and I don't know what it is. And so
Why can't you speak every language like Tookie?
I'm just not as cool as Tookie, apparently. Spiegel's cambio! Gennaro yelled. The mirrors on the walls folded in on themselves and transformed into a new kind of mirror that glowed from within. These mirrors played back C-L's impromptu fashion show, with one critical difference. Instead of C-L gracefully walking down the aisle, as the girls had witnessed, she was now running. Her arms pumped, her legs leapt. She dashed as if in pursuit of life-sustaining oxygen. The mirrors also transmitted what happened backstage. Instead of a room full of chaos and fashion show dressers, the space was empty. Clothes flew off C-L and disintegrated. New clothes appeared, and dozens of tiny hands pulled them over her head and down her body.
What? Like, disembodied hands?
Disembodied hands, I guess.
That's way creepier.
It's so terrible.
Okay, so I'm picturing, like, FMA and all, like, the shadow hands.
Yeah. I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. That she's physically running, but she looks like she's walking on the runway.
Okay, so if everything is an illusion, because I think that's what the mirrors are doing, that they're casting the illusion, why is she even changing clothes?
Yeah, that's what, I thought the illusion was going to be that her clothes were all an illusion.
Yeah,
and
that was
change.
like the same outfit.
Yeah, but instead, apparently she's running and the illusion's that she's walking.
What?
And she's really changing the clothes.
What?
I don't know, Tyra, you had an easy way out here. You set it up, and you're like, no thanks. Everything happened at a rapid pace, like a pit stop at a car race in the city of 500. Finally, the replay showed C. Tilda L exiting the backstage area in the red polka-dotted jumpsuit. Her poses at the end of the runway were lightning fast and merely split seconds long. "Fini!" Gennaro barked, and the mirrors went dark. All the girls looked dumbstruck. "So, no-sees, you idiots all know that fashion shows appear calm, smooth, and orderly when spectators view them," Gennaro explained. "And models appear to be dressed by human dressers who aid and abet them into multiple outfits, one after the other. That's just how everyone sees it, but it's not how it really plays out. Your Centuras hold the power to hypnotize the audience, whether that's in the fashion auditorium or watching a recording in the privacy of their own master bedrooms. What? It shows them what Modelland wants them to see. This is the most important class you will ever take at Modelland. For a clumsy no-see will never book a go-see."
Okay, let's just talk about the power in these Centuras.
You want to talk about this power.
So, okay, I can understand if, like, it's a magical world, they have these magic belts.
Mm-hmm.
And these magic belts can, like, create illusions. Okay, yeah, sure, I can believe that in the magical world. But for the Centuras to be able to do that through TV or through a recording?
Uh-huh.
What?
Like, Lunar Chronicles handles this kind of situation with so much more sense in that mirrors and TV systems can't be fooled by,
like you can't
illusions.
fool technology.
Yeah. It's just common sense.
As you could trick, like, the real eye. So, like, the magic works really well in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it would make a lot of sense then, too, for, like, these fashion shows that usually they're not broadcasts. And I don't understand. So it's not even just that it's, according to the book, it's not even that these, like, magic belts have somehow, like, affected, like, the camera, or that they're edited, or, like, it's created an illusion that affects the camera.
No.
It affects the viewer themselves as they're viewing it whenever they watch it. So it's, like, going through the electronics and technology and still hypnotizing people, which is weird. And, like, that's not a concept you'd see. Because that's weird.
It makes me concerned about the politics of their world, because if their models have access to powers like this, what do the people in power have access to?
The Belladonna just rules all.
Apparently the Belladonna model woman just rules all, and she can control your mind.
At all times.
Always.
Also, like, I get, like, the idea, like, Guru Gennaro summed this up very well when he says, like, oh, yes, the fashion shows may look all very calm and put together to, like, just normal spectators, but in reality, they're, like, kind of, like, thinly veiled chaos, and you're running through things. It doesn't make sense to actually have the models themselves. What is she doing? Like, sprinting down, essentially sprinting down the runway?
She's working super fast, but it appears like it's going slow.
I think they said, though, that she's, like, running down
Yeah, she's running, and she's posing for split seconds and not for, like, holding poses.
What is the point of this? If you can brainwash people...
Yeah.
If you can brainwash people, no matter when they're watching this, to think that everything's fine, that you're, like, walking... Why not just do that?
Yeah.
Why not just do that? I don't understand why you'd actually have to sprint, because I just don't get it. Your body goes through different motions when you sprint and when you are walking. So like so she's like creating like a slower moving image of herself?
Yeah.
Well, at that point, just wear one outfit and then just walk back and forth, hypnotize everyone that you're wearing different things.
Exactly.
If your clothes are going to disintegrate anyway, they're not even real clothes.
So I don't know why we have to have the illusion of looking slower when we could just have the illusion of wearing clothes, and it makes more sense in this context.
And you have disembodied hands that are like undressing you or dressing you. What? If your clothes are disintegrating, then they're not like real clothes anyway. So why can't they just like appear on your body? Are they just holograms? Just use your Centura.
I'm sure I saw an anecdote to what it's like backstage, but like
there's no like rules for the magic.
No,
there's no rules for the magic
of
this world. If you're gonna have magic, you have to establish at least some sort of rules or systems. I haven't seen any rules for this magic.
Oh no,
they can do random things, and Ciel can do apparently like. So it seems like they gave each of the 7 sevens their own power, and it made it sound like they only get that power. And yet now, all of these girls get the magical belt that does the same thing, that you can hypnotize people and slow down time. Like,
let's give a bunch of 15-year-olds a belt that can hypnotize people.
Great.
That sounds safe.
Great.
Good job, guys. Excellent. Okay. That's where we are. Oh dear.
Why are you yawning at such an exciting part?
I just want to go to bed. Dylan jabbed Tookie in the ribs. All the gurus got some swell up heads, don't you think? I ain't never taken so many important classes in my life. Tookie giggled. Shiraz raised her hand. Why'd you do the lying? Gennaro smirked. My pint-sized Lilliputian. Why does a lady never let a man see her bare face sans makeup? It ruins her glamour, her mystery. It makes her real. The more people know of our secrets, the less intriguing this place becomes. That's why I'm the head of security, honey. I uphold the laws, the secrets, and the runaway. So how do you do it? Tookie dared to ask. C-Tilde-L raised her Centura. In order to make your runway look like walking, you must have your Centura somewhere on your body. It's the only way. Not according to this world's magic. Zizi took a step forward. So I can be as fabulous as you just because I'm wearing my Centura? Out of my way, honey. Not so fast, the guru said. It's not simply enough to run at a super speed. The movements have to be super fast, elegant, precise, fluid, swan-like.
Why? You can just use your Centura to hypnotize people. You could crab walk down the runway and no one would know the difference, right?
Apparently so.
I don't know, unless they're... Because that brings it back to my problem with this. It almost sounds like the only thing they're doing is slowing down time. But that doesn't work because you can't be running down the runway and have it look like you're walking. Your body moves at a different gait, at a different pace, and like different poses. You just can't just slow it down. So yeah, again, you could crab walk down the runway and no one would know any better because that would have to be you'd have to be disguising whatever movements you're actually doing.
I don't get it either.
So
it's all rather.
So really, all you'd have to do is like figure out how to project, like envision, like I don't know, maybe envision a graceful swan-like image of yourself walking down the runway, and there you go.
There you go. You just sit there. What's the matter?
I don't understand the rules of this.
There are none. This is a lawless land in which we create laws written in crayon.
In which we have people with hands for faces.
And hands for faces. Like, just because you may think you're a swan doesn't mean you are one, dear. Still, everyone leaned forward, eager to try. Only Tookie hung back, her stomach swirling like she was still trapped in the Cutter boat. How am I going to do this? I can't even run down a hallway without tripping. So, who's going first? C-Tilda-L asked. I will do the walking, Shiraz cried, busting in front of even Zizi and Chaste. Nars eyed her wearily. Just go up and down the runway once. No ducking into the back room to change clothes. Got it? Yes, yes, Shiraz had already started down the platform. The lights dimmed. She walked frantically, her face tense and tight. But when everyone looked into the mirrors, it showed what was really happening. Shiraz was running so fast that she was a blur. Her arms jutted awkwardly. Her hair flew straight back from her face. Every time she reached the end of the runway, she slid to a stop like a baseball player stealing home. Gennaro clapped his hand over his cement-colored eyes. This is the third time we've mentioned his eye color in this chapter.
I get it. They're gray.
They're gray.
Although slate gray looks different from just how I picture like a light colored cement.
Yeah.
At that point, just say gray.
Just say gray. Or just stop giving us colors to try to remember.
Because look, now you've backed yourself into a corner.
Girl, you looked like a squirrel stuck in the middle of a busy street, trying to avoid being crushed. Hell, if I had a car right now, I would make a point of running your little ass over. What? No! I don't write these words, I just have to read them.
I don't like him anymore. That's just rude.
I don't like anyone in this book. At all. There's not a redeemable character in this book that makes it half good. The lights snapped on again, and Shiraz walked dejectedly off the runway. But I do the running so fast, she said to Tookie. Tookie just shrugged and squeezed Shiraz's hand. You'll get better. Then, as Shiraz peered across the room, her expression changed. C-Tilda-L been looking at me funny today. Like the Labriant's evil spirit. Look! Tookie looked up. C-Tilda-L was staring intensely at Shiraz again. Tookie couldn't tell if she was pleased or disgusted. As soon as C-Tilda-L noticed the two of them staring back, she averted her eyes. Piper leaned toward them. CL's making me really uneasy. What did we do wrong? Quiet, chattering. Yeah, it's not even quit. I thought I read that wrong, but it's quiet. Quiet, comma, chattering, comma. Quiet, chattering, you wanna-be model monkeys, Gennaro roared. Bo's turn was next. On the runway, she looked like a walking zombie, her arms hanging heavy from their shoulder sockets. In the mirror, she ran with little energy, her face stuck in a drone-like expression. Girl, you belong in Model Bland, Gennaro joked. Desperata was supposed to go next, but she was still sobbing too hard. C-Tilda-L looked annoyed. What are you crying for? Do you want to be here or not? Desperata just sniffed and didn't answer. Listen, there's no way you can even try this until you stop crying, C-Tilda-L went on. Chaste went next instead. In the mirrors, she somehow made running look almost pornographic, shaking everything she shouldn't. On the runway, she rubbed her body all over, gyrating to the beat like a dancer in an exotic nightclub. I'm not old enough to look, Shiraz yelled, closing her eyes. Gennaro groaned. This is Modelland, not Strip Town. He waved Chaste off the runway, then looked at Tookie. Get up here, crazy eyes. It's your turn. Tookie swallowed hard, her heart pounding. Her limbs felt tangled already. Everyone was staring at her, which made her cheeks feel hot. She got up on the runway and set off, trying to conjure up her graceful inner cat. Tookie De La Lion. She extended her leg in a long leap, then another, then another. She raised her head and tried to remain as calm and composed as she could. I'm doing okay. Even her cintura felt like it was working. Her heart lifted and her soul soared. Out of the corner of her eye, she noticed C-Tilda-L and the Bellas staring confusedly from the runway platform to the mirror. Why are her performance and her reflection the same? A cleft-chinned blonde named Kieran whispered. Tookie glanced in the mirror. It showed her awkward running movements. She turned away from the mirror and glanced down at her legs. They were running, the quick pace nowhere near an elegant slowed down runway walk. What is happening? Is it my cintura? The thing hates me. She glanced out into the confused crowd. One face wasn't phased at all. In fact, she was sporting a clearly devilish smile. Zizi. All at once, Tookie knew. She did something to me. Something to mess up my walk. Let's blame the girl I don't like.
Does she even have her Centura on her?
Oh, that's a good question. Tookie gritted her teeth and charged ahead. It didn't matter. She ran like her life depended on it, losing sight of her position on the runaway, determined not to let Zizi's evil face get the best of her. Tookie ran and ran and ran and ran all the way, off the end of the runway. She knew she was no longer on the platform, but she was determined not to stop, and ran and ran and ran and ran until, boom, she hit the wall. She scores, Zizi hooted from the sidelines. Get up, Tilda L yelled. Tookie struggled to stand and play it off, but it was too late. Gennaro was already shaking his head. A failure on so many levels. On the runaway and off. Maybe those crazy eyes are half blind. Tookie trudged to the sidelines, rubbing her sore forehead. What happened? Shiraz asked. I think it's Zizi, Tookie murmured, but I don't know what or how. By coincidence, Zizi was next. Shiraz turned and faced the runway. I hope she fractures spine.
I hate her broken speech.
I hate because she's not from like the English common language speaking place that she has to have broken speech.
If they have magic that can sync up all of their periods, they have magic that could make them all understand each other.
Yep, just fine. And also, why does everybody like, I hope she dies. I hope she breaks her spine. I hope this. I hope that. When there's
I guess
no,
this is a very narrow-minded idea of how girls act.
Yeah.
And like, the problem with this is I feel like all of these girls are being like pretty serious for these people that they like never talked to before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it, Zizi's mean, so like I could see people be like, gosh, I hope she falls and breaks a leg.
Yeah.
It's like, I could see that.
But
So like stuff like that.
But like to the extent that everybody has like such venomous like.
I mean, so far, I think what we've seen has been against Zizi.
Yeah.
He's kind of been a jerk to everyone so far, so... But, like, I don't get why Tookie's blaming Zizi.
Right, she just expects her because she has a smile on her face. I'm thinking she's not done anything wrong. And I would bet money that Zizi by the end of this book's going to be one of Tookie's best friends. Guarantee it right now.
Yeah?
They're going to find some sort of commonality and forgive each other and move on.
Interesting idea.
That's the feeling I'm getting, because I think Tyra's the kind of writer who is going to have an irredeemable villain and an anti-hero. And I think Zizi's the anti-hero that like, oh, we should forgive our enemies and anybody who's ever been mean to us, we have to like them now.
I hope that's not necessarily the case. I hope if she does get a redemption arc, I hope it's a good one that actually shows, you know, character growth and isn't just like some like plot device that comes out of left field and runs you over like a bus.
They hit us and they hit us hard.
Zizi set off, her long legs extended, her arms swinging confidently, her head held high. Not once did an ankle wobble in her high heels. She reached the end of the runway, posed, then ran back, not stopping. And then, in a display of defiance, Zizi eyeballed Tilda L, slipped behind the wall, and returned wearing a studded black bat-themed mini dress with pronounced wing-like shoulder pads. She strutted to the end of the runway, stopped abruptly, and spun 4 times, one more spin than Tilda L had done. She then disembarked from the platform like a gymnast and smirked haughtily at Guru Gennaro. Insolent. Gennaro gazed at Zizi with a mix of jealousy and disgust. Tilda L gave a wave of her hand to Zizi as if to say touche. The kaleido clock glowed chartreuse. Thank God, class is over, Gennaro sighed. I guess we don't have time for the rest of you today. Now, one of you, although an insipid show-off, may just have a little skill at Runaway. But just one? That's sad and pathetic, my no-sees. If you girls don't watch out, actresses will take your place in the future runways. And no,
Have against actresses.
Tyra's an actress too, so I don't know why she's got it against actresses. And no, they are not famous or magical, but they're already making their ridiculous crimson carpets a runway event in itself. With a miffed eye roll and disgusted sigh, he dismissed them. As Shiraz waved goodbye and slipped out the door, another figure appeared behind Tookie. It was Zizi, and there was a wide smirk on her face. Tough thing about your runaway collision, she trilled. I cannot imagine what went wrong. Her eyes flicked to Tookie's waist. Tookie whipped her head up. What did you do? There was a devilish look on Zizi's face. I'll tell you a little story. I loved the yellow dress I wore here, so I kept it as one of my 2 items. I still feel that being allowed to keep only 2 items is not very fair at all. I mean, my acupuncturist grandmother said when she was here, they were allowed to keep 5 things. But then I had an idea. Why couldn't I cut up my dress and make 1 item 10? So you see, I've now got a yellow skirt, yellow gloves, a yellow beret, a yellow neck scarf, leggings, panties, a bra, 2 satin bracelets, and... Oh, did I tell you that I found a Centura under your bed? I'm still so perplexed as to how it got there. I mean, you're wearing it, aren't you? Or maybe you have 2. 1 magical and 1 not. Tookie blinked, slowly understanding what Zizi was telling her. She touched the Centura around her waist. It was the same yellow as Zizi's dress, perhaps a touch off from the yellow of the real Centura. You didn't. Zizi leaned her face close. That's right. I didn't. I didn't do a thing. But you know, if you start telling stuff about me to your friends, to anybody, it'll be bad for your soul. I'm a true believer in, oh, what's it called? Your shocker friend would know. Then she snapped her fingers. I know. Karma. Karma's gonna kind of be a bitch to you then.
Yeah.
Zizi spun around triumphantly and met up with Chaste. Embarrassed and furious, Tookie turned to exit the class and locked eyes with C-L. The Intoxibella peered at her, her eyebrows furrowed in a frown. Tookie's stomach clenched. It was the same ominous look she'd given Shiraz and the other girls earlier. C-L turned and marched away. That was when Tookie noticed that some of the red polka dots on the back of her jumpsuit were richer, wider, and blotchier than the others. All along C-L's back, just under her shoulder blades and traveling up and down her spine, something red seeped through the cloth, growing larger and more garish by the second. It took Tookie only seconds to realize what it was. Blood.
She could have just left it without that whole last sentence and just left it at garish.
But she really likes to leave these this last statement, she thinks she's leaving cliffhangers, blood, we gotta find out what's wrong, but it's not gonna even be addressed in the beginning of the next chapter, guaranteed.
So when Tookie found her Centura, was it already in her closet? Was it under her bed? How did Zizi get a hold of this and switch them?
Zizi having anything to do with it, but...
So
maybe.
Is Tookie gonna have to go through this whole thing without a Centura, without any magic?
That would be cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That would
she
actually
doesn't
be
get
really
any
good.
anything to help her out.
And she beat them all by herself. Kind of like how she still got to be called even though she didn't have a smize.
Yeah.
I could dig that. I don't know how the heck she's gonna pull it off. But maybe that's part of C-L's belief is you don't need all that flair and
maybe
glamour to it all. You just need to be you. And Tookie's the only one who does that. I don't know. Maybe we're giving Tyra too much credit.
What was Tookie's part of the C-L's poem?
I don't think she got one necessarily. It said And then finally Tilda shut her eyes and placed her thumb on her breast. Their crony elected exemplar of excellence. She doesn't say anything about Tookie. She addresses a couple.
Also, what the hell is Reuben-esque?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Like I thought, like a Reuben sandwich.
Because
But I'm
it's
like-
capitalized.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a word.
Good. Good start.
In the style of or suggestive of Rubens.
Okay.
And it can also mean of a woman's body, having a large bosom and pleasing curves.
Of course it does.
So what the hell's a Rubens?
So this is totally another one of.
Oh! Okay. Hang on, wait.
This
Hang
is
on.
totally another Tyra Thesaurus moment where she's like, "Oh, thesaurus? What word do you have that means voluptuous for me today? I can't use that. I used it 6 times last chapter."
Rubens was a prolific Flemish Baroque painter. Let me see what some of his paintings look like. Stuff like, it's that style. It's that Baroque style where they were all kind of, you know, normal proportioned people. They're not particularly fat, so... Chapter 21. Jammers, Chowers, and Poachers. Rubbing her aching forehead, Tookie walked down Beautification Boulevard to her third and last class of the day, Mastication. She touched her centura on her hips, the correct centura, which she'd found exactly where Zarpessa had said it was, under her bed.
Lame.
Why did Zizi just take the real one?
I'm
Maybe
so
she thought
bummed.
she probably just doesn't want to get in trouble.
I like our ideas way better than all of Tyra's so far. We could have actually made this a legit book. And she keeps giving us these little glimmers of hope, like, oh, maybe I'm going to give you something better than what you expected. And then she's like, oh, just kidding. I'm going to stick with my original plan, of course.
You need magic to succeed. This is the lesson that Tyra wants to tell, just like Disney.
Thanks, Disney.
She felt a familiar pang in her stomach again, a mixture of pity and envy for Zizi. There was anger in that pang, too. Tookie couldn't help it. I know she's got a secret, but why does that girl have to be so nasty? Slowly, she realized that the pangs were due to something else, too. Hunger. It had been over a day since Tookie had eaten anything.
Oh, yeah.
An absolutely rarity for... Grammar.
Oh, yeah.
Grammar.
Is that how it really reads?
An absolutely rarity for her.
No.
No.
Nope.
No.
Why is it an absolutely rarity? Why is... Who thought to make it an adverb?
You can't do that.
Why? Why does that exist like that? Why did no one catch that?
I don't know, but this is an awful grammatical error.
This is like glaring. It's glaringly
It
bad.
is a glaring error. It should be an absolute rarity, not an absolutely rarity.
Because rarity is not a verb. It's a noun in the sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. You could say an absolutely rare occasion, or you can't have absolutely rarity. You can't.
But Tyra can.
Did no one correct this?
No,
Or did they just give up?
She probably told them it was fine, and they just like, huh, good, we didn't want to read that anyway.
Like, if it was Miracle that had said it, I could be like, oh yeah, sure,
If
Miracle.
the character said that, I would totally believe it.
Yeah. It had been over a day since Tookie had eaten anything, an absolutely rarity for her. But she miraculously hadn't been hungry until this very moment. Now her stomach felt like it was caving in on itself, and her throat felt parched from all the running into walls in Runaway. Tookie finally found the site of Mastication class. The building was a giant bowl made up of multicolored bricks, with a ladle-shaped smokestack poking out the top. As she got closer, Tookie could see that the bricks were actually loaves of wheat, white, pumpernickel, and raisin bread. Butter and cream cheese served as grout. Beef and chicken kebabs provided additional building support, and the windows seemed effervescent, like they were carbonated. Tookie stuck out her tongue to lick the window.
What?
She's licking windows!
This is Tookie we are speaking of, the girl who was lying on the school floor pouring whipped cream into her mouth.
But also, why is the fact that this room, this building, is made out of food?
Because it's not magical unless it's extravagant like this. Magic is weird and only weird.
Yeah. Oh, good. At least someone has some sense. So, Tookie stuck out her tongue to lick the window. Don't do that! Tookie turned to see Dylan running toward her. Oh, never mind.
Never mind.
I just tried it, Dylan said out of breath. I licked a kebab and zap. Crazy.
Crazy.
What? Did it shock her like an electric fence? It didn't do it to Tookie.
Not yet.
Oh, she didn't actually lick the window. She just sticking out her tongue to do it. So, Tookie looked at the building with disappointment in her eyes. But I'm starving. I could even eat chocolate. Oh yeah, Dylan said sarcastically. Disgusting, horrendous chocolate. Well, it is in front of you. Right there, Dylan said, pointing to some brownies serving as window trim. But it just might kill ya. Ha ha, very funny, Tookie said. My first class was so friggin' hard. Oh my gosh, Tookie, it's called Tick-Tock Color Clock. It was supposed to explain how to use the clocks around here, but not one of us walked out knowing the friggin' thing. How was your last class? Wasn't Dylan there?
I guess maybe she wasn't in that first boat class.
So she wasn't in the boat class.
She was in the most recent class. It was mentioned she was there, but she never did anything.
She can't be because at least maybe she wasn't in the last class. Maybe it's just that C Tilda L mentions her.
No, I'm pretty sure she actually
Yeah, she is. She jabs Tookie in the ribs.
She wasn't in the first class with Tookie, but she was in the...
But she asks, how was your last class? As if she wasn't there. Oh, imagine that. You can't keep all the names straight.
You would think you'd keep a name like Dylan straight enough.
Especially, she's not even I mean, she's a side character, but she's one of the main side characters in the fact that she's Tookie's friend. How was your last class? A pain in more ways than one, Tookie said quietly, rubbing her forehead again. She shared what had happened to her in Runaway, including the story of Zarpessa's Centura switcheroo.
She was there. She was there.
Maybe Tookie forgot because she hit her head so hard against the wall.
She hit her head so hard that
Dylan forget.
Oh.
I love continuity.
Yay, continuity. It's a good thing that we have an option to use, I guess.
Dylan clenched her jaw. That girl deserves an ass whooping. No one treats my Tookie like that. Tookie blushed. She had never been anyone's Tookie. It felt good. It's tempting, but I don't think we should stoop to her level, Tookie concluded as they walked toward the building. Dylan made a face. What's she got against you, anyway? Zizi's threat swam in her mind. Tookie thought about sharing Zizi's secret with Dylan, but then just shrugged. I have no idea. They walked into the entryway. Suddenly, Tookie's ears filled with the sound of frying bacon. Her nose twitched with the most delicious smell ever, a combination of the juicy fat from soup dumplings, barbecue ribs, sourdough bread, and rich melted butter. Her stomach let out another grumble. On a door, the word mastication was spelled in macadamia nuts. Inside was a large, three-tiered room. Bulbous copper receptacles stood on each tier. Copper pipes connected the receptacles and disappeared into smooth concrete walls. The smell of food was everywhere. A tall, striking, lovely woman with a round face and brilliant blue eyes burst through two swinging doors at the front of the room. Her legs made an upside-down, bowed-out U, as though she'd just jumped off a horse after a long ride. Her arms were extended, as if she was still holding the reins. She wore a tool belt filled with bright, shiny copper knives, ladles, tongs, and spatulas, and a chef's apron that had all kinds of food. cobs of corn, veggie sticks, blue corn tortillas, and prawns still in their shells with the heads attached, stitched into the fabric. The walking buffet didn't stop there. She wore armbands made of roasted garlic. Her pants were made of a burlap potato sack. Atop her head sat a hybrid of a chef's hat and a cowboy hat, filled with tiny bags of spices. And her hair consisted of long, tube-like food items, strands of spaghetti, whips of licorice, blades of wheatgrass. She sat down on the edge of the desk, nibbling on her hair, saying nothing. That's quite the image.
That is quite an image I'm trying to picture.
Yep. More girls spilled into the room. Something whipped past Tookie's ankle. It made a teeny boing sound like a bug on springs. As the rest of the Bellas filed in, including Chaste and Zizi again, the Likey sisters, and the Kamalini, most of the creatures zoomed through the air. Okay, yep, alright. Girls screamed. Kamalini clasped her head. So more of the creatures zoomed through the air. Girls screamed. Kamalini clasped her hands over her headbanger. Finally, Tookie spied one standing still on a table. It was a small mouse-like thing with pointy ears, a long tail, and a slit across its belly. Excuse me, Zizi screamed to the guru, who didn't seem alarmed by the chaos. This classroom is infested with vermin. Oh, with you? The guru chuckled. Nah, they're just too jerky. Grabbing a set of chopsticks from the table, she caught a hopping creature as it passed. You little bugger. She tossed it into her mouth. They taste like chicken. If you catch one, I'll let you eat it. Half the class shuddered, but Tookie salivated at the jerky. She was so starving she would have eaten anything. Okay. So they're acting as if these are like beef, like pieces of beef jerky. That's not what Tookie just described them as. The guru grabbed another jerky, then hopped off the desk. G'day, my name is Laurel Brown. Guru Lauro to you. She had an accent from...
It's Australia?
Yeah, it's Australia. Didgeridoo. She has an accent from didgeridoo.
Disappointment.
I mean, if you had no clue that that was like an Australian like instrument, then like
why can't this be set in like
that's like naming like a country violin or tuba.
Tuba. I'd love to live in tuba.
She had an accent from didgeridoo, a hot land full of beaches and unusual animals with strange names. And this is where mastication happens, Laurel continued. I can't do an Australian accent. I can't do accents.
I have a hard time doing anything that's not strictly some sort of off-branch American accent.
In this class, the only one who will use magic is me. Therefore, these lovely yellow sashes around your waist have got to go. She walked around the class, confiscating all the centuras, labeling them with each girl's name so they wouldn't get confused. Tookie breathed a sigh of relief. At least I know Zizi won't sabotage my centura in this class. Then Guru Lauro returned to her desk. Okay, Bellas, stick out your tongues. The girls looked at each other nervously, then obeyed. Laurel walked up to Dylan and grabbed her perfect pink tongue between her fingers. Ah, Dylan, your favorite food is? She twisted Dylan's tongue up and around, inspecting it closely. Bull Big Deep Dish Pizza Pie. Dylan jolted back and put her hands on her hips. Honey, don't say pizza pie unless you've got some. Laurel turned next to Tookie's tongue. Your favorite food is an odd one. Whipped cream, straight out of the can, am I right? Tookie nodded. Immediately, her mouth began to water. Next, Laurel appraised the Likeys. All four girls stuck out their tongues, and Laurel frowned. Sugar-free breath mints? The Likeys nodded eagerly. They are our favorites, they said down the line. We suck one each. It just sounds really weird.
Sounds so weird.
Laurel gave them an odd look. That's no way to live, dearies. You realize your bodies need fuel, correct? You realize you'll still be beautiful if you chew and swallow.
You know, you didn't mention this to the girl who only eats whipped cream.
Well, like, I think she can... I'm assuming she can also tell that, like, Tookie, likes a lot of different foods. I don't know.
Mm.
Who knows? I have no clue what her power is besides, like, being able to, like, guess people's favorite
It's
food.
so weird.
Then she turned to Zizi. Laurel murmured, looking at Suppress's tongue. White truffle wagyu saffron risotto topped with Alma's caviar. Right. I'm obsessed. Our private chef prepares it when we're not dining out at Le Doli. Oh, but wait, sweetie. There's something else I'm seeing. Zizi's face quivered. What? A blend of discarded foods? Room temperature, slightly decaying. Puzzling. Very much Darrow food, mate. Darrow? Dylan whispered to Tookie. Tookie hesitated, but decided she would translate. Darrow means homeless in the didgeridoo dialect. Oh, well, your secret might be out.
Yeah.
Dylan and Tookie looked back at Zizi to find that Zizi was already glaring at them. Madame, how do you know our favorites? Kamalini asked. Her favorite food was the special vegetarian samosas she used to eat watching her mother on movie sets. Laurel adjusted her hat. 'Cause I, mates, am a tongue reader.
It's a job I would not want.
I can tell what all your tastes are at all times. Reading tongues for me is like reading palms. I know what you want, when your tummy's happy, and, she pointedly eyed the likeys, when it's sad. You're all very hungry right now, aren't you? Everyone started to murmur. Tookie clutched her belly. Laura removed her chef's hat, revealing a crazy, stiff ponytail that looped straight into the sky. She tipped the hat upside down and made a spilling motion. A fine yellow smoke swept out and slithered around the room, snaking into each and every girl's nostrils. Ooh, Chase took a big whiff. It smells like honey-roasted almonds and oysters steeped in pomegranate juice. No, it smells like virgin olive oil bread with only a slight hint of mold, which is okay because it can be sliced off in a half-eaten pheasant, Zarpesso swooned before stopping herself.
So wait, she likes eating trash? That's what I can't get over.
I think it's just that those are probably the best things that she's found
Maybe.
while they've been homeless, I would guess. And that it's something that, I would guess it's something that she remembered tasted like so good, that's what stuck in her mind. Although she doesn't really stop herself right here when she says she stopped
she's
herself.
not trying to hide anything anymore.
She literally says it smells like virgin olive oil bread with only a slight hint of mold. Dylan's nose twitched. Big teak pizza pie, she murmured, her eyelids fluttering with pleasure. Where is it, baby? Where is it? And when the smoke trail reached Tookie, she smelled delectable whipped cream. Suddenly, the pipes leading to the large copper kettles began to tremble. 15 harnesses dropped from the ceiling, dangling above each vat. Zizi leapt to her feet. There's food in there! All your favorites, Guru Lauro said. Find your food receptacle and then climb inside the harness. Okay.
I'm kind of scared.
Tookie followed her nose to the vat she was sure was hers, climbed into the harness, and dangled over it. And, whoa, what a delicious spread it was. About 100 cans of different types of whipped cream, heavy cream, light cream, vanilla cream, all spewing their contents into the air. She tried to grab some of the white stream, but her hands didn't quite reach. Darn it, she cried in frustration. Next to her, Dylan groped fruitlessly as well. Chase let out a breathy whimper. Why can't we eat? This is cruel and unusual punishment, Zizi cried. With the wave of the guru's hand, a round white kitchen timer appeared on the stainless steel table and counted off the seconds with loud jarring ticks. After about 10 seconds, the timer dinged, and each girl's harness lowered closer to her vat, almost close enough to touch the bounty. Tookie groped for the whipped cream cans until her arms ached. She was so hungry her head was beginning to spin. Laurel strolled around the room, dipping a finger into each girl's slop.
I don't like that either.
Are they hanging above, like, troughs for, like animals?
That's kind of what I feel like.
Outstanding pizza pie, she told Dylan. The perfect blend of acidity and sweetness, she said about Kamalini's samosas. and she plucked one of the Likey's breath mints from their shared vat and slipped it into her pocket. I'll save this for later, too. Rue jerky leaves your breath so rancid it makes koalas fall out of the gum trees. She plucked a can marked heavy, creamiest cream from Tookie's giant vat and squirted it into her mouth. Brilliant, she announced. A glob of whip remained on her lips. The timer dinged again, and the harness dropped a few more inches. Tookie's arms swung, her legs kicked. She could almost get one. But then the harness recoiled, and she and all the girls sprang all the way back up. Everyone groaned. Patience, Bellas, Laura chanted. Patience. Brrr. The kitchen timer bleated so forcefully it vibrated right off the table. Laurel clapped, and instantly the harnesses went all the way down, allowing the girls' heads and hands to reach their food. Yes! Tookie grabbed some cans, inserting them and squeezing endless streams of whipped cream into her mouth. Then she did it again and again and again, tossing spent cans to the side and reaching for the new ones right away. In no time, her face was covered in cream, her brand new Modelland uniform slopped with goop, and her arms dripped with dissolved frost. As she brought another can to her mouth, it slipped out of her hands and plopped right into her oversized flower brooch.
Oh my god, she's still wearing that?
I guess she's still wearing that. Also, how is it catching it? Tookie glanced down, befuddled. Somehow the pin had swallowed up the can. But when she reached into the center of the brooch, voila! Her fingers curled around the top of the can once more. It's a secret food receptacle, she marveled. A mini refrigerator, just like I had in my dumbwaiter locker at B3.
No, not just.
What?
Not just like.
What?
It's like an endless bag like you'd find in Harry Potter where you just keep putting stuff in. And it's like a refrigerator that lives in her flower.
Didn't she grab this like flower off the wall?
Yeah.
So is it just because it's like magic from the world? I don't know. Let's find out, I guess. The class continued to gorge with gusto. Dylan closed her eyes and slowly relished every bite of Beau Big Teak pie, laughing like a lunatic after each swallow. Chase slurped the pomegranate juice. Zarpessa stuck her entire face into a brew of fish chunks, clumps of old spaghetti with coagulated carbonara sauce, half-eaten sandwiches, and gooey yellowish rice. The Likeys stared nervously at their vat of multicolored sugar-free breath mints. Finally, each girl used a thumb and index finger to pick one up and placed it under her tongue. Kamalini was the only one who seemed unfazed, eating with calm, measured bites, savoring the experience. The vats of food tipped over, their contents spilling out onto the floor. The Bellas groaned in unison, still unfulfilled. The empty vats rose to the ceiling and hovered there, and the harnesses released, spilling the girls straight into the food slop. Almost everyone, even Tookie, recoiled at the blended ingredients. Only Zizi crawled around like on all fours, her head down, scraping the floor to retrieve the vile victuals with her tongue and incisors. It was even crazier than the way she'd scuttled around in the dumpster behind the restaurant in Peppertown. Also, I've never seen the word victuals used.
I don't think I have either.
Vile victuals. It sounds... It's a nice alliteration, but... The vats then crashed to the floor and morphed into elevators, one per girl.
Oh, okay.
Guru Loro gestured to them. Even though Tookie already had dessert, you other Bellas haven't. Get in, mates. The girls boarded the food vat carriages. The elevators didn't go up or down, however, but slid across the floor and transported everyone to a nearby building. The sound of gushing water filled the air. The elevator doors opened, revealing a bank of group showers in a shiny facility of chrome and translucent surfaces. But the liquid spurting from the nozzles was anything but clear. One nozzle spurted rich cassis?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Another spouted thick, deep brown liquid. Another showerhead's waterfall was a rich tan hue. The smell tickled Tookie's nostrils. Lovely scents filled the air. Caramel, boysenberry, and marshmallow, Dylan swooned, eyeing the fluffy confection streaming from the showerhead. She looked as though she was about to faint. I'm showering you with sweet treats, mates, Guru Loro encouraged them. Go for gold. I feel like this is about to backfire.
It's gonna so
that they're
backfire.
going to gorge themselves on all this food, and then they're going to be like, now look, y'all, you can never do this again because you all acted like pigs.
Yep.
Except for Kamalini.
Except for Kamalini. She can have all the mimosas she wants.
The girls rushed to the showers, all except the Lykies, who stood on the sidelines, sucking their mints. Chase checked to make sure the Guru wasn't watching, then knocked down a brunette girl as she gunned for the dark chocolate shower. Tookie ran over to the fallen brunette, scooped her up, and then made a break for the salted caramel stream, cupping her hands under the faucet and burying her face in her palms. All of this just sounds gross to me. All of it, especially like wiping yourself in whipped cream and caramel. No.
I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this.
Or like marshmallow. That would just be everywhere. Zizi stuck her mouth under a maple syrup spray, but her shower head jammed as it forced out broken bits of pecan pralines. Letting out a frustrated wail, she ripped the fixture from the wall, allowing a solid stream of maple pecan praline sauce to flow directly into her wide-open mouth. Kamalini let about 9 heaping tablespoons of pistachio coulis drip onto her... Coulis? 9 heaping tablespoons of pistachio coulis drip onto her tongue.
Pudding, maybe?
Probably. Emitted a pleasant squeal and wiped her chin clean, being extra careful not to let her headbanger get soaked. Dylan dove headlong into the marshmallow shower. The liquid covered her hair and face and melted over her uniform, legs, and arms. There was a look on her face as if her actions were involuntary. It's so good, she kept crying. Just so good. Last lick, Bella mates, Loro bellowed, and moments later, the showers all dried up. Moans and groans filled the room. I hope you enjoyed the feast as much as I enjoyed feeding you. Now it's time for the lesson on jammers, chowers, and poachers. She approached the oyster and chocolate-covered Chase, pulled a green stamp from under her chef cowboy hat, and pressed it on Chase's wrist. Hey, Chase said. She stared at her new brand. Gut shower, it said in square green letters. You ate very slowly, and when you reached your perfect amount, you stopped, never getting over full, Loro explained. That's the first time anyone has ever told me it's good to stop, even when something feels really good. Chase licked a bit of leftover chocolate off her thumb. Loro glared at her. Then Guru Loro circled the room. Kamalini also got a gut shower stamp for eating steadily and continuously, and for eating the side of vitamin C-loaded spiced cauliflower that had come with her samosas. Then Loro approached the Lykies. When the 4 girls stuck out their hands, their stamps glowed red and said, Gut Poacher. We need to talk, ladies, Loro said quietly. You're restricting nutrients to your Bella belly needs. And feeling awful about nutrients, this sentence.
Mm-hmm.
You're restricting nutrients your Bella belly needs. And feeling awful about nutrients you do get.
What?
So, and she's saying, essentially, the sentence would make more sense if she said, and you feel awful about the nutrients that you do get.
Okay.
So they feel bad about, like, eating anything.
Yeah.
Instead, it says, and feeling awful about nutrients you do get. It's phrased kind of weird.
Yeah.
The Lykies stiffened. That's not true, Guru. The Guru gave them a warm look. When you want help, I hope you give me a bell. When Guru Loro approached Zarpessa, only half of the stamp would materialize in the Guru's hands. The word gut. Okay, Zizi, I must admit, with all due respect, your munching habits are doing my head in. For now, one thing's for sure. You have a gut. So here you go, mate. And she stamped Zizi plain and simple. Gut. Then she approached Tookie. A red stamp marred Tookie's hand. Gut jammer. You eat with the ferociousness...
Oh, boy.
You eat with the ferociousness of a Prager's Tasmanian devil during her first trimester, Laura explained. However, your stomach is telling me that it's never full. Is this true? Tookie nodded. This woman really can read my stomach's mind. All the tummy stuffing in the world won't fill out your fragile frame, mate. Not anytime soon, anyway. When you reach your 20s, your rear may begin to plump up, and then you'll be crying a different tune. Until then, and even after then, be happy with what the looking glass tells you. It ain't half bad, kid. Ain't half bad, Tookie thought. It was as though Laura had told her she was the most beautiful girl in the world. Finally, Laura walked over to Dylan, who was still licking residual marshmallow off the webby spaces between her fingers. She red-stamped her hand, gut jammer too. You're also a shoveler. Just today I am, Dylan said quickly. I haven't guzzled like that in I don't know how long. Really. And anyway, can you blame me? I was starved. Laura gave her an I know better look. I'm also picking up that food has an emotional effect on you. Dylan froze. No, it doesn't. The guru held Dylan's gaze. Dylan lowered her eyes. Then Laura tucked the stamps back into her hat and faced the class. For the few of you who will make it all the way to Intoxibellas status, there are a few things that will challenge you more than food. What to have, when to have it, how to have it, whether to have it. Starvation and oversatiation are not acceptable, mates. Models are known for restricting their food or going on binges, but that's not what we're going for here. And besides, Guru Laura trailed off, making a face. Those lolly-headed leading ladies restrict as well. Worse than models, in my rue opinion. But here, moderation isn't what we're going for. One of the things I'll be teaching you here is how to find your balance. All your future meals will be designed by me. How you eat is important to your success. I hate to sound like I'm up myself, but this is the most important class you'll be taking at Modelland. Yeah, our last guru said that too, Chase said, rolling her eyes. The girl named Bibiana from Terra Bossa Nova raised her hand. What do you mean, future meals designed for us? I'm so full, I feel like I don't need to eat for a week. A smile stretched across the guru's lips. She tipped her chef cowboy hat again, and the same yellow smoke swirled. Here's a little present from you to me, the gift of renewed appetite. You're now so hungry you could eat the ass out of a low-flying duck. What?
What?
You're now so hungry you could eat the ass out of a low-flying duck. I've never heard any sort of expression remotely similar to this.
No. And I think, like, eat ass has a different, like, connotation to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it doesn't work.
I don't think it's the same as what this book's going for.
Nice.
The dessert showers retracted into the floors, revealing an entryway into an enormous room filled with modular tables lying within cutouts in the floor. The wall to the left contained floor-to-ceiling windows, the belladonna statue clearly visible through the glass. The wall to the right was made of hundreds of tiny glass doors, each with a mouth-watering dish of food inside it. The doors were separated into color-coded sections and labeled with 3 designations that Laura had given the girls in the shower room: gut shower, gut jammer, gut poacher. The wall in front of the girls boasted the name of the establishment in large letters: EATZ. Eats. I get it, Tookie said. M is Modelland, O is opera, D is dorms, and E is... Eats, Zarpessa interrupted sarcastically. Wow, you're so brilliant. Dylan narrowed her eyes. There has to be an L, Tookie said, ignoring Zuzi. Yeah, stands for La Idiot, Zarpessa muttered under her breath. Like you. How about lame-o, Dylan spat back, unable to hold it in any longer. Like you. Zizi's eyes blazed. Lard ass, Chase snickered. Dylan whipped around to face Chase. Loose Lucy? Loudmouth, Zizi retorted, a little bit of spit spewing from her mouth. Leech lizard? Lay off, Tookie interrupted, inserting herself between the two of them. Dylan turned away, but she was smiling wide, having gotten in the last L insult. Chaste and Zizi shot Tookie and Dylan looks that seemed to say, just you wait, hags. You've done it now. Well, I mean, I guess Dylan doesn't have to room with them, but Tookie gets to room with Zizi.
Thanks, Dylan.
An upper-class Bella, all one word, upper-class Bella.
Upper-class Bella.
An upper-class Bella approached the Eats wall and spoke into a large pair of lips. Amber Joy of Angel City. These are all one word, too. Amber Joy of Angel City. Cream of wheatgrass soup and a side of wheat toast with butter. With a brief chime, a door opened and a steaming bowl shot out. In it was the most hideous-looking grass-green soup Tookie had ever seen. This is the E, Bellas, Laura announced. Your cafeteria. And I am its executive chef. Enjoy, ladies. Dine, appreciate. But please, try to find balance. We're supposed to dine now? Zizi looked nervously from the upper-class Bellas to the rotting food all over her uniform. We look certifiable.
Yeah.
Like
approved. Like, you would approve something, you would certify something.
Is there, just another context that...
Or is this the part where Tyra accidentally looked up antonyms and not synonyms? Good look, certifiably terrible.
Oh, no. She totally tried to look up crazy.
Oh.
So, certified, or certifiable, can mean capable of being guaranteed or certified. Or, it can mean fit to be certified as insane and treated accordingly.
Yeah,
that's got a whole boatload of other contexts that we're not getting from here. I've never heard it used like that. Is it an outdated way to say you're fit for the loony bin?
Probably.
Which already is outdated as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. We look certifiable. I know, mate, Laurel replied. A rude jerky materialized in front of her again, and she chased after it, pinning it with her chopsticks and popping it in her mouth. But no Bella's first day is complete without a stinky, sloppy, slimy trip to the E. Just another part of earning your keep here at Modelland. Bon appetit! Everyone collected their centuras from a bin and hurried to the wall of goodies. Only Dylan remained where she was, her bottom lip trembling slightly, still covered in marshmallow, her centura held limply in her sticky hand. Tookie touched her arm. You okay? Dylan flinched, then tried to smile. Loved her didgeridoo accent. She was nice, huh? Yeah. Something about Dylan seemed deflated. Tookie wanted to ask what it was, but she was afraid of upsetting her. So she pulled Dylan toward the eats wall, trying to ignore the scornful looks from the upper-class Bellas. All of the girls in our class look crazy. So why the heck are them Bellas only staring at us? I mean, they acting like our genes are contagious or something, Tookie joked, trying to imitate Dylan in an effort to cheer her up. Just then, a loud collective coo erupted from the other Bellas. The girls nearest the windows rushed to look outside. The rest, Hold on, I just caught a glance at the next sentence.
Oh, dear.
So, the girls nearest the windows rushed to look outside. The rest of the Bellas in the room followed the stampede. Sexified succulents, someone cried.
Okay. What? That's our new saying. It's no longer goodness great shoes. It's sexified succulents.
I think I know what they're looking at, but sexified succulents, someone cried. I'm going to hyperventilate, moaned. Oh wait. I'm going to hyperventilate, moaned a girl wearing large sunglasses. I called firsties, exclaimed Chaste, and lasties, and tops and bottoms. Tookie and Dylan drifted towards the window. Kamalini stood behind them, trying to peer out too. But there wasn't an inch of space, and no one seemed to want to move aside to give them room. Finally, Dylan pulled over 3 chairs and stood on one. Tookie and Kamalini jumped onto the others. Outside the window, 3 strapping young men walked the length of the building. They held a girder of steel over their heads. A photographer snapped their picture again and again. Tookie squinted hard at the rippling muscles and chiseled face of one of the guys. He was staring, mesmerized, at a building to the left of the E. She knew him. It was the boy who'd wanted to help her with directions earlier that day. Does anyone know who he is? A girl screeched, pointing to him. I do, Tookie wanted to say.
But
His
you
name is
don't.
Bravo, responded another student. The other two are Webb and Alexander. The girls began frantically tapping the glass. Webb and Alexander noticed the girls and smiled, waved, and licked their lips.
Nasty.
Bravo shifted his gaze from the building to the
they're-
girls.
They're all still covered in food and crap. It's
Yeah,
really
they are.
nasty.
Well, at least like the beginning bells that just got there are the new recruits.
Yeah.
The rest of them are, I'm hoping, are more
Yeah.
dignified.
Hopefully.
Bravo shifted his gaze from the building to the girls, but just smiled politely to the group and then looked away. That just stirred up the girls even more. They slammed their knuckles against the glass. Bravo tossed the steel girder into the air for a series of action pictures. He caught it once. The photographer snapped the camera. The girls inhaled. He caught it a second time. The girls exhaled. Show off, Tookie thought. He tossed it a third time, and the girder slipped out of his fingers and came hurtling down, sharp edge first, snagging the skin on his forearm. The girls cried out in unison. Then it happened. Something no one in all of Modelland could have predicted. The bleeding Bravo looked up at the window and focused on only one face. A whipped cream caked, punch bowl-headed girl with one green eye and one brown eye, to be exact.
Wow, I'm so shocked she has another guy that's interested in her. Wow.
What does it mean that she's punch bowl-headed?
Big-headed, I guess. Got a large, weird-shaped
Punch
head.
bowl-headed girl.
Maybe you want to
Yeah.
punch her? I don't know. I want to punch this book.
Uh-huh. Why does Chase have to be vulgar on every time she opens her mouth?
That's her characterization, is she's just like...
It's fine. Like, no one is like that every single time they open their mouth.
No one I know, at least.
But even, like, you still wouldn't say, like, have something like that to say every single darn time. It's fine if they... It doesn't have to, like, beat you over the head with it.
Yeah. That's nasty.
Like, you can still have, like... You can still have her character pegged with just, like, a couple of these lines, and we would have known exactly what her character's like that.
Yeah, we don't need to keep laying it on.
At this point, it's just, like, dumb and cringy. Fun times. I hate them all. I hate all of these
hate all of them.
characters.
Nobody's redeemable. Burn them all.
Also, what is a girder? Why does it have a sharp edge?
I know it's a Pokemon, but I know he's not lofting a Pokemon in the air.
A girder.
I think it's like one of the iron.
A beam made
Yeah.
usually of steel, a
Yep.
main support in a structure.
Yep, because that's what the
What
Pokemon
sharp
characters.
ed-
That's why I know what it is. I think it would have like broken your arm or set you off balance if like you were flipping this through the air and you
A
didn't catch.
sharp edge.
No better question. Okay, so they're
So, like, they're just, like, metal, like, support beams.
yeah.
I mean, it would be heavy. It would break your arm, probably, not cut it.
So
Well-
they're in the air, right? Are they not like on a first floor? Because if he just dropped it somewhere, what poor soul's underneath right now that just died? When he's like, oh, my arm. Oh, hey, Tookie. Oh, look, someone down there's dead now.
No, I think they're... I don't know. I think that they're on the ground. Hold on. Outside the window, 3 strapping young men walk the length of a building. Okay, so yeah, so they are probably on like, well, walk the length of a building.
Yeah, they could be
so
on
they
the
must
ground
be
or on
probably
scaffolding.
they could be on either one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, so then I'm hoping for like you were saying, I'm hoping they were on like the first floor so they didn't like crush anyone.
Yep. That would have been just another day in Modelland at this point. All I can imagine right now is the Modelland trailer, the part that Tyra's actually in.
Yeah.
Where she's sitting on the beach with that one dude, and I think that's supposed to be Bravo, if I had to guess. And I'm very scared of scenes that are up and coming then. No, I don't need this in my young adult novel, please.
Yeah.
Please go away. Young adult. Not adult. This is not an adult novel. Please stop.
Also, how is he seeing Tookie's face? They have like girls like pressed against like the window as if like
Well,
they're
they're-
waiting to go into a store on Black Friday.
Yeah.
So like how
She's
does he
standing
see
on a chair.
Tookie, who's standing behind the sea of girls, and like yeah, like maybe you'd see like her face like way back here, like way back here in like the back.
I don't know.
I don't know, but they locked eyes through the window.
It's true love because they locked eyes.
Yep.
Anyway, that's gonna do it for Modelland for
Yay.
today. Taking a good chunk of time analyzing 2 classes here. I can't wait to go through the color theory class too, and whatever other delightful classes that are involved. And hopefully once we've been through them once, we won't have to be through all of them multiple times. But I'm not gonna cling to that hope.
I just want someone to explain this magic because it makes no sense. There are no rules and I don't like it.
It's terrible. Alright, well, thanks guys for watching. Make sure you comment down below and let us know what your thoughts are. And if you'd like to keep up with all of our Modelland adventures, make sure you subscribe so you can see when the next video comes out. So, guess we'll catch you guys later. Bye!